So on to our next session. No Olympic event says summer more than beach volleyball. So that's the sport we're using to celebrate this next session on summer meals. So now let's serve up our first speaker. Please welcome Tamara Baker, Project Communications Director for the Carolina Hunger Initiative. Tamara is sharing with us a 1989 picture of her sister with Chapel Hill's favorite Olympic athlete, Michael Jordan.
Oh, that 80s hair. People think we look alike. I'm so glad to be here with all of you today. And this has just been a really day of inspiration for me. You know, our focus at Carolina Hunger Initiative is on improving access to these underused federal nutrition programs. And before I even get started, I just want to call on the people that the partnerships that we could not do this work, none of us, if it wasn't for the state agencies that do such a great job. So I want to do a shout out first for, and if you'll raise your hand, if you're with the Department of Public Instruction, working school nutrition, raise your hand. Let's give them a round of applause. Whoa. That's a great group. And now the Department of Health and Human Services, because they are making these nutrition programs work so beautifully. Yay, raise your hand. Raise your hand. Small in number, but mighty. I just thank you all. We really do value these relationships. And now I'm going to talk with you a little bit about summer meals. And why am I talking about summer in February? Well, did you know that Summer Meals is really a year-round program? We might serve the meals in the summer months, but it takes a whole lot of other work to make it all happen. And so what does the Carolina Hunger Initiative have to do with summer meals? Well, first of all, remember that big yellow guy that came in, the big ray of sunshine, and brought the joy to lead our parade of vegetables this morning to start us off? Ray. Well, we like to bring Ray with us where we go. First of all, we like to help bring fun to events. And so if you have a celebration or if you want to plan a celebration, call us. We like a party, in case you can't tell. So that's one thing we do is we help to celebrate you and your successes. And we want to be there to help the programs, to help bring life to the programs and even just give you some tips on what we've learned. Another thing that we do is we bring some money. It's not necessarily out of our pockets, but we are happy to help designate it from other people's pockets directly into yours. And speaking of which, I know we talked about recently about a round of grants for summer meals. They are coming. So just be patient. Thank you for your patience, but we expect to be sharing more. Watch our website. You'll be getting all those great mailings be coming in March. So stay tuned. Those are coming from our national No Kid Hungry partner, and we just couldn't really run these programs without them. And the third thing we do is we work with our great DPI friends over here to host the Summer-Palooza Summits. And just that word, doesn't that sound like fun? Summer-Paloozas. Boy, they are so good at doing this now, and we love working with them as a team and making sure that it's all about celebration and planning, because again, it's a year-round program. And my hat's off to Cynthia Ervin, who started this a long time ago when she came to one of these events and said, let's bring this to summer. Cynthia, go Cynthia. We're going to hear more from her in a minute. We love that this is such a family. You might leave one area, but you go to the next, and you go to the next, and just all a tight-knit family here. We also bring on interns to help, and you've been seeing them around the room. We're just so thrilled. We saw one on stage singing. They're so talented, and we hire them as staff like Marley over here, thankfully. We are so fortunate, the pool of resources that we get to be able to bring interns on. And speaking of which, you might have been one of the organizations that applied. If you're a Summer Meals sponsor, you might have applied for an embedded intern this summer that will come to work for you that we pay for it. So we'll be announcing those 5 intern slots probably within days. So just be looking for an email from Jessica. We've selected those. And in cooperation with DPI, we also host the Summer Meals for NCKids.org website. And I hope that you all will go to that website. There's so much information there. We've designed this so that it's where we send families. It is not just Carolina Hunger Initiative's website. It's where DPI can call me and say, hey, we need this up. And thanks to skills on our team, Andrew and Janet, we can get it up very shortly. So we try to make sure there's information ample there for families to know how to find the resources, information for the sponsors of these programs that are running these programs, and the meal sites. And hey, you want to have some fun with the kids? You want to educate them and teach and show them fun at the same time? We have so many resources there and nutrition education materials. So we hope that you will go there. And there are also things that we make available, like the pennies that you'll see in a minute here. I'll bring it up my next session. But we're encouraging the employees to wear when they're showing up at some of these meal sites. But so please go and check out the website and see the resources that are there. And if there are any questions whatsoever, we are on call 24/7. So please reach out to us and let us know. Another thing that we do is we create a snapshot. And when I say we, I mean Jessica and her team. Dr. Solovini, you're going to hear from her in a bit. And she is really great with research and data and compiling and analyses. And she works with her team of interns to develop these profiles on summer nutrition participation around North Carolina. And it is not only, we do a statewide profile that's all on one page, front and back, but we also do a county by county snapshot. And you see on the example is Alamance County. And we've tried to make this colorful and bright. But so what we want you to do is to take this information and to use it particularly with stakeholders, and let them know what's going on in your county. And most importantly, it tells the need. You cannot be anywhere in North Carolina and not recognize that there is substantial need. These children need these meals. And in the summer months, the meals are available for children 18 and younger, all the way down to infants, and they're available at no cost. And that's a federal program that's been in place for a long time, and we're so happy. But it's hard to run these programs. And you see the circle on the top right corner, that orange circle with the blue on it? The blue was the number of dollars they were able to access. So there's a lot more work to be done to fill up the rest of that pie to make it all blue. So we just, I'll give you a hint that every single county has almost a similar graph. There's so much opportunity. And so partnerships. If you want to run these meal programs and you don't know how, see me, we will match you up. DPI can help you, but maybe there's a way that we can set up new programs even after today. And the last I want to share with you is about awareness. Ray, is our mascot, and he has some great tools to help get information out there, but not enough people know he exists. Not enough people know that summer nutrition programs exist. So please go and like his social media. There's his handle at Ray, the number 4, NC Kids. And then use the hashtag Summer Meals, the number 4, NC Kids, which is also the same as our website. That's thatplus.org. And just encourage you to go and use this and to take every opportunity you can to tag us and to tag the NC School Meals and over at DPI, and they'll make sure and give it more life. And so when you're having a program, please tag these summer social handles. And just thank you for including that whenever you can. That's all I have for now. I take that back. I have something else I want to share. Always, as my husband said, there's never a last word with you. You're going to hear about something super exciting in a minute. And it's been teased throughout the day, but it's a new program. And it was actually run as a trial, sort of as a kind of a test case. A lot of people think it was a lot more than a test because what you're investing this summer. But 8 school districts in our state ran a program called Non-Congregate Meals, where the meals did not have to be eaten on site by the children. It helps address so many of our transportation issues, right? Where's the kid? Where's the food? We're excited. Andrew created a video. You're going to share it now? I'm going to share the video of what it looked like in North Carolina.
Being in rural eastern North Carolina, it gets really hot and very humid here. And the main problem we have with parents is not wanting their children to come out in the heat. So it is actually much better situation for service that somebody can come along, pick up the meal. and take it back, and they can sit in their air conditioning. The other situation too is with non-congregant, is that we can actually send a breakfast for the following morning as well at the same time. So we're actually covering 2 meals instead of just the one. I think people would like for us to be able to do non-congregant. I think participation is higher in sites as a result of being non-congregant.
They get a breakfast and a lunch every day, even on Fridays, because what we do on Thursday, we'll send home the meals on Friday. We did get that approved. So I feel like that's a blessing for each child to get fed if they want the opportunity. Non-congregate is really the best, in my opinion.
Last summer, we did not have open sites, and we did not have the opportunity to provide box meals, which is good because we can provide 1 day a week, 5 meals for the next 5 school days that they are there.
So there's 1 box per child, and then each box is 5 breakfasts and 5 lunch.
I feel much safer with it being like this instead of having to transport them to a house. I think that if we'd have done it daily, that we wouldn't have be able to reach as many families because of the transportation, because of gas, because families can't bring their kids and kids can't walk to these sites.
I would definitely encourage it. Not only are we building those relationships with the community, but we're also feeding the kids, which is the biggest priority. Sometimes we have kids who are not able to come to the site. We have kids that have special needs. They're not able to get out. Some that they're staying home. They're latchkey kids.
Summer, it's been really helpful to our family because my husband lost his job. And it's been a way to help us save money on groceries, and it saves on gas money also because you don't have to come back and forth every day.
I'm here with my husband volunteering while we pass out lunches and breakfast foods for the students at Wilson County. Sometimes once they leave school in June, they're wondering where's their next meal going to come from.
You never know what's going on outside of the school and what their kids are going through. So just the fact that there's an opportunity for them to get some is a great thing.
It helps us out as a family, and we really enjoy it. So thank you to all the lovely ladies and guys that put time in for this. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Tamara. Now, please welcome Jennifer Bailey, Section Chief with the NC Department of Public Instruction's Office of School Nutrition. Jennifer reports that in her family growing up, camping was practically an Olympic sport, and they enjoyed adventures backpacking all over the country.
All right, thank you very much. And if you want to hear a story later about a forest fire coming down the mountain and my parents refusing to leave the campground, come see me. It truly was an Olympic sport growing up with my family, and my parents just retired and they traveled all over again. So very excited to be here. But this conference is always such a blessing for me. It's so inspirational. It reignites my hunger to end hunger every single year. And it's so wonderful to see all the familiar faces in the room every year. So Lauren Wayand and also Tamara mentioned reach and mentioned that we wanted to reach all kids in the school meals programs. And that's our goal during summer too. We want to reach all the kids. But in summer, it truly is an access issue a lot of the time. So, over the years, sponsors have tried every which way they could possibly think of to reach more kids. And our numbers have stayed fairly the same. Cynthia Ervin, she made incredible efforts to try to feed kids and to increase our numbers. And Ray was her brainchild, so we love Ray. But you know what? USDA has recognized that, we've got to do something different. We've got to, normal congregate meals are great, but we've got to add some other options and some other programs. So we are very excited to announce today that USDA has launched a suite of 3 new programs. And Cynthia is going to talk about one in a minute, but we have new branding from USDA and 3 new programs to address childhood hunger in the summer. So yeah, where's that cowbell? We need that for sure. So we're very excited about this. So the 3 different programs, it's called Summer Nutrition Programs for Kids, or Sun Meals, and it's the branding is from USDA, and it's so new that the artwork for this just came out Friday. So we had to get it into that presentation real fast, and thank you, Andrew, for getting it there. But so Sun Meals is the traditional congregate meals program. So everything that we know and love and we're used to, where kids eat in groups on site. Sun Meals to Go, as you saw in the video, can take on a variety of different ways. We can feed kids for multiple days for multiple meals, meaning they can take home up to 10 days worth of meals at one time, which is incredible. We're very excited about that. We can do bulk meals. Yeah, definitely cowbell for that, for sure. We can do bulk meals, meaning we can give bulk ingredients with recipes to be able to send home with meal boxes, kind of like HelloFresh. And we're really excited about that opportunity for this year. We can do home delivery, and we can do a lot of other things that we're very excited about. So we have about 34 sponsors interested this year for 125 sites so far. And I've actually talked to a few people today that are going to submit as well. So we're really excited about that option. And then I'm going to let Cynthia talk about Sunbooks, but that is a electronic grocery benefit that she'll talk about in just a second. Next slide, please. So while that slide is coming up, I'm going to talk about the next topic. So we're going to talk about some North Carolina program highlights from 2023. So in 2023, we had 175 sponsors that served 3.9 million meals at 2,492 sites. So that's pretty incredible. And to put that in perspective, that's almost 500,000 more meals than we did the summer before. So it's pretty exciting. And we attribute a lot of the increase to, one, just sponsors going out and finding more sites and finding more kids. Two, the non-congregate meals. We increased by 125,000 meals just for non-congregate meals last summer with only 8 sponsors, like Tamara mentioned. So we're very excited about that. And also rural routes. So taking a van like you saw in the pictures and going from stop to stop to stop, and not just, stopping in one spot. So the rural routes really helped increase the access to meals. Next slide, please. So these are the non-congregate meal service highlights. Like I said, we served about 125,000 meals with 8 school districts and 50 sites last summer. So think of what we can do this summer with 34 sponsors and more than 125 sites. We're really, really excited to see how many kids that we can reach this summer. All right, so we had our Summer-Palooza that Tamara mentioned earlier, and we do this every year. We did it in 3 locations across the state, and we do a lot of education. We do, next slide, please. I'm going to show a whole bunch of photos real quick, so you guys are going to have to look real fast. So we share a lot of nutrition education and just education in general. We talked about setting up your sites for success. We talked about reaching rural, because non-congregate meals are a new option for this year. We talked about all kinds of different resources that are available. And we had Paige King Johnson come sing. We stole her from this conference from last year and had her come sing for us too, because she sings about agriculture and local farmers and local infrastructure. And we really wanted to bring that into our conference. And we talked a lot about Farm to Summer. So Farm to Summer is one of those things that we're really getting involved in, and I'm very excited about. So on the next slide, you will see this was the North Carolina Crunch. Speaking of Farm to Summer, we did a crunch at each Palooza. And so we crunched local North Carolina apples, and we encouraged all of our sponsors to do that during the summer for Farm to Summer Week. So you'll see a lot of familiar faces in these photos. We also recognized Summer Nutrition Champions. I believe that's the next slide. So we had a lot of Summer Nutrition Champions that we recognized this summer. And I'm going to go through this real quick like popcorn. So Gaston County Schools Farm to Summer Award. They have a garden that's over a half an acre. It's GAP certified, which means they can serve the produce in the schools. And so they grew over 750 pounds of cucumbers and 40 pounds of tomatoes and other fruits and vegetables. Is really exciting. The next award winner was also a Farm to Summer winner. It was Franklin County Schools. They're over here. If you're here, stand up and cheer. And so they did a lot with dairy this summer, and you're going to hear from them in just a second from the Franklin County Boys and Girls Club that is a site under Franklin County. So they're doing a lot of great things. The next group is the Boys and Girls Club of Wake County. They won the Going the Distance of Innovation Award. And so they're doing a lot of innovative things around nutrition education. So one of our community sponsors, really exciting. The next award winner, if I can read that far, there we go, Cumberland County Schools. And so they also won Going Distance and Innovation. rural routes. They were congregate meals, but they were rural routes. They fed so many children doing this, and it was really exciting. They actually converted some buses so that the kids could come sit on the bus and enjoy their meals. Very exciting things happening in Cumberland County. TCK Providence, another community sponsor, won the Going the Distance and Innovation Award. They're doing a lot of really neat things in nutrition education and just bringing activities in that will draw the kids in. And that's really important to, be able to draw them in and make them want to come to your program so they'll participate in the meals as well. All right. The Rising Star Award was for the Boys and Girls Club of the Coastal Plain. This was a brand new sponsor. This was their first time, and they served a decent amount of meals, and they worked with Beaufort County schools to provide the meals. And so we're really excited for the new sponsors that get going and hit the ground running. So they did a wonderful job. And then finally, the Turn Up the Beat Award, Beaufort County. I know they're here. There they are. I see them here. So two-time award winner, or maybe more than that, but 2 times that I know of, award winner of the Turn Up the Beat Award. And so they're doing non-congregate meals. You saw them in the video. And so if you want to do non-congregate meals, go talk to them. They're doing a really great job with that. So congrats to all of our award winners. We're so proud of all of you. And there are a lot of you in this room that spoke today that need to be on that list next year. So very excited. All right, almost done. And I just want to recognize the DPI team and the CHI team. We have an incredible partnership, and I don't know how to explain it, but it just works so well. And yeah, they're in the back dancing and singing back there. They're having a good time. Just want to recognize all of them because they work so hard each and every day. Like Tamara said, this truly is the year-round program, and it takes hard work all year just to feed the kids 2.5 months in summer. Cynthia's nodding her head over here. She knows. So just wanted to recognize all of them. Just a little shout out. There was a flawless management evaluation from USDA this year for the summer program. So I just wanted to say thank you to all of you for your hard work. 2 more slides. Resources for summer. Scan that QR code. We have brand new resources, and I'm very excited for those. We have all kinds of social media graphics for you to use. We have flyers. We have farm to summer resources. We have destination summer resources. Anything that you want is probably there, and it's in English and in Spanish. So check this out. There's a lot of incredible graphics. And we actually tied in a team nutrition training grant that we have where we're talking about local produce. So there's a lot of farm to summer graphics in here too. So if you're getting involved in that, check this out. And then the last slide, Tamara already said, if you want to use Ray, go to the Summer Meals for NC Kids website and fill out that form, and Ray will come to your event. So we love Ray getting out there in the public. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for everything that you do. We really appreciate you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Now I'm going to welcome Tamara back to the stage to interview our next community champion. Tamara will be talking to Stephen Misenheimer from the Boys and Girls Club of North Central North Carolina, located in Franklin County. Stephen is a former collegiate athlete who played basketball at Wingate University. Welcome, Stephen.
Can you tell he plays basketball? When I met Stephen, I immediately came back and told my team, I said, I met this coolest guy. I can't wait. He's going to be at our conference this year. And so sure enough, we made all that happen. And I'm so glad he's here with us. We had a Ray event there, and I think Andrew's going to share some photos while we're talking here. But I have a first question for you, Stephen, is give us a picture of what summer meal, make sure your mic is on. I think it needs. Okay. I am also not a sound tech. So my first question for Stephen is, can you give us a picture of what summer meals look like at the Boys and Girls Club?
Yes. Well, first and foremost, this past summer was my first summer as unit director with the Boys and Girls Club, and it was a wonderful experience. And I want to shout out Franklin County Schools Nutrition, if you can put your hand up. Because that experience, it does not happen without them. I approached Miss Lisa, and they all welcomed me with open arms. And the first thing that we needed to determine when getting this partnership going was, how many kids am I going to be expecting? And I let her know we were going to be expecting about 60 kids this past summer, and 30 of them was my K through second group. So summer is a beast. It is very busy. It's a lot different than after school, and it would not have worked without this wonderful partnership. And a little bit of what that looks like is they were able to compensate and accommodate whatever we needed. So, for example, if there was a child who was allergic to cheese, they would give us a peanut butter and jelly sandwich instead. Or, for example, if they were like, Mr. Steven, I'm tired of sloppy joes, but they loved the chicken and waffles. Chicken and waffles was a hit at my club. They were able to come to me and say, you know what, we're going to keep serving you chicken and waffles. And they would swap it out for me. So that was something that meant a lot to my kids. It meant a whole lot to them. And also, they loved the chocolate milk. So that was a hit. They could not stand the white milk. They will tell you when they're not a fan of something. And it was an amazing partnership, and the summer would not have worked without them. And the biggest goal is to make sure that they're cleaning their plates off, that they enjoy the meals. And that was something that after the first couple of weeks, once we determined what they liked, what they didn't like, it was smooth sailing from there. And I look forward to continuing that partnership in the future next summer.
That's great. Yay. I know kids have a variety of taste here, and some of them are very narrow variety and not necessarily healthy. But what kind of impact does access to healthy food have on the kids you work with?
Well, I've heard it said a bunch of times while we're here, nobody can learn on an empty stomach, not a child and not adults. So that's the first reason why it's important. But also it's important because we have programs that are related to health and nutrition and exercise. For example, healthy habits. It's nice when you have access to this food because when we're talking about it in the program, we can actually use it as an activity and say, hey, this is what we're talking about in the program. Here's our apples, here's our grapes, here's our fruits, and we can do a whole bunch of activities with that. And so that's another reason why it's important. But the biggest thing for me that I see why it's important at my club is because during the after school season, we serve dinner and we serve a snack. And we don't know what our children are coming from, and we don't know what they go home to. So to be able to provide them with 2 meals, and they can go to the share table if they want more, or they can take it home with them if they leave early. I always make sure if my kids want extra, they get it and they can take it home with them. But those are a few reasons why access to, healthy food is very important.
And that's probably not one of the CACFP at-risk after-school meal sites, right? So they're doing this. Somebody's having to pay for those meals for those kids for after school and the after-school snacks and supper. So wouldn't it be great if the federal nutrition programs, there is one that's available for after-school meals. So maybe there's an option down the road for tapping into those federal dollars for that program. So, Stephen, how does your background as an athlete inform the work you do with kids?
Okay, well, everybody's been talking about sharing their story, so I'll take a moment and be vulnerable with you all today, but because there's a power in vulnerability. But when I was going on my junior year in college, I actually got my scholarship taken away from me. Unexpectedly, in April, I was brought into the office and told they weren't going to scholarship me anymore. And I had to drive home about 45 minutes because I'm originally from Albemarle, North Carolina, which isn't far from my college. And I had to look my parents in the eyes and tell them, well, I'm not scholarshiped anymore and I don't know what I'm going to do. And it was the worst news that I had ever gotten in my life. I was in tears in my living room, so were my parents. But I thought about something. And today is a full circle moment for me because Jeff Lebo told me when I was around 16 years old, he said, Stephen, use the basketball. Don't let the basketball use you. And when I thought about that, I said to myself, it happened to me and 2 other players. I said, we're going to fight this. I'm going to stand up because it's not just about basketball. My scholarship and my academics is now being taken away. And I'm a first-generation college student. So my sole goal was to be able to earn a scholarship so my parents wouldn't have to pay. So to keep a long story short, I ended up appealing to the scholarship committee. We got in contact with other athletic directors within the conference and also board of trustee members who disagreed and they weren't aware of what was happening. And so this happens all the time to players all over, but they don't know that they can stand up and fight for it. And so eventually the scholarship committee wrote me back and I won all of my money back.
That's a champion.
But I had to be real with myself, and I asked myself at the end of that, who is Stephen outside of the game of basketball? I did not know. I had no idea who I was. And so I said, I probably better start figuring that out. So I decided to stop playing. I won my money back, so I was able to finish my education, and I switched to psychology my junior year, which made my senior year very rigorous, but it's okay. But I learned some things through that process. And I'm gonna say three things that I learned. Number one, when working with children, or if you're in a director role or any type of managerial role, there's a power in vulnerability. Don't be afraid to share your story and open up to your children, because you never know what they're going through. Number two, there's a difference between rigorous and ruthlessness, is what I learned in that situation. That was ruthless. It's okay to have high expectations and high standards, but provide grace when you can, because every single person in this room and child needs that. And the last thing I want to say is lead with love, because when I got my first job in Warrenton, after deciding, I'm going to stop this basketball thing, Christ changed my life on the mountain in Blowing Rock. And And ever since then, my why, if something happens to me today, I want everybody to know, is so these kids know that God is real. And I say that because some of my children, they're in the system. Mom and dad might not want them. Brother and sister may not be in their life. So they come to me, Mr. Stephen, nobody wants to be, nobody loves me, and that's not true. And I don't have to say anything. I don't have to shove anything down their throat. It's not about what you say. It's about what you show them. That's what it means to believe. And so that's my story. I just wanted to share that with you all. And the last thing I want to say, and I felt compelled to say this, I was sitting over there, but if there's anybody in this room, just like we don't know what our kids are coming from or what they're going home to, it's the same about every single person sitting in this room. So if you're going through something and you're having a tough time, I promise it's going to be okay, because God took the worst moment in my life and turned it into the best moment. And I would not be here speaking to you all if I would not have got my scholarship taken. So I want you all to keep pushing and keep working hard. You are champions. You are enough. You are valuable. You all are loved. And thank you so much, Ms. Tamara, for this opportunity. It's been wonderful.
Thank you, Stephen, and thank you for your vulnerability. I really appreciate you. Now, back to beach volleyball, favorite summer Olympic sport. We heard from the Department of Public Instruction earlier, and now we're switching state agencies to the NC Department of Health and Human Services. To spike the ball one more time on our summer meals topic, please welcome Angela Morrison at NC DHHS.
Good afternoon, everybody. So we're running a little late, so you're lucky I'm from Texas and I talk fast. So, but I am very, very excited to talk to you today about Sunbucks. Some of you know it as Summer-EBT. It is the newest federally funded program, and North Carolina, my boss of 2 weeks now, very passionate and has worked tirelessly to get this kicked off in North Carolina. So I'm very excited to be working with her. Next slide. Who's got this? Who's doing this? Okay. So as you know, about 1 in 4, 25% of children in North Carolina face food insecurity. 60% are eligible for free and reduced meals, and roughly 13% of North Carolina families currently live in poverty. Summer is a critical time for children because they have additional difficulties accessing healthy foods. There's a lack of retailers, transportation, many other barriers to accessing some of the other meal programs that we have. And we know that a lack of food really hurts children emotionally, physically, psychologically. And then they enter a new school year and they fall behind. They struggle. And so it's just this constant yo-yo every year, school, summer, school, summer. Next slide. So a lot of you know about pandemic EBT. It was a 100% federally funded program, which came to an end in 2023. It's different from Summer-EBT, but there was about 1.6 million children served or people served and $2.5 billion of benefits that were issued in North Carolina for pandemic EBT. And the spend rate for that was about 93%. And the reason that that is important is because when you give people money for a particular thing like food and 93% of those funds are spent, it was important. They needed it. That was really, really great. So, next slide. So the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, in partnership with the Department of Public Instruction, is expanding food assistance and implementing Sunbucks this summer. Again, one of the first states to do it, super excited. And so eligible children will receive a one-time allotment in the summer of $120. They are eligible for $40 per month for the 3-month summer period, and they will be issued that at one time of $120. So students who are currently eligible for free or reduced lunch, as well as other federal programs such as SNAP, Medicaid, TANF, sorry, Texas Talk came out, Work First, are streamlined certified. And so those children will automatically be certified for the program and receive the $120. And then other people can apply to be certified. Next slide. So the impact of Sunbucks is that we believe 1 million children in North Carolina will be able to participate this summer in this program. It's a lot of, yeah, it's a, that's a cowbell moment. And that's $120 million because this is, the benefits are funded by the federal government at 100% that are issued. That's $120 million this summer that will be injected into North Carolina's economy. Next slide. So you've heard a lot today about the 2 other federally funded programs that are currently in North Carolina, congregate and non-congregate. So this will be the 3rd prong to a new system that North Carolina will have, which will be there will still be congregate and non-congregate meal options, as well as Sunbucks. So 3 options, and that's going to be, we've also heard a lot about rural areas, transportation, difficulties that children have accessing food in the summer. And so this will be an additional way to ensure that children have access to nutritious food throughout the summer. Okay, so children, as I mentioned earlier, children who are on free or reduced lunch will be certified eligible or streamlined eligible. And so we're asking that if anybody needs to update the address for a child or add an address into their Power Schools or whatever data system they may use, if we can get them updated by March 29th, it's really important to have good mailing addresses for these children in the summer, because that's where their Sunbucks cards or EBT cards will be mailed to them. So you can also stay up to date. We have lots of information coming. We're doing a lot of work. There's application, just a lot of information that's going to be coming out in the next few weeks. And so we do have our Sunbucks website up at NCDHHS on the website. So watch that. You can also scan the QR code to learn more about SNAP-Ed, another way to get education on. Okay, next. Okay, so the ask. So this is a federal program, and it is the benefit itself is 100% funded by the federal government. The administrative cost to implement the program is a 50-50 match. We are working with people throughout North Carolina who are interested in partnering with us. Currently, we have raised $5 million. We have a goal of 7, so we have two more to go. So if you can help, scan the QR code, fill out the form, come and I'll be monitoring that. And so if you have any way to help, want to connect me with somebody, ask me questions, get more information, please reach out. And we want to reach that goal and make sure that we do everything that we can for North Carolina children this summer. Yeah. Okay. And last slide. So the last thing we have is we have 3 webinars coming up on March 5th, 6th, and 8th at 2 p.m. to share this information with educational stakeholders. So if you scan the QR code, it's also on CHI's website. Join one of the webinars, learn some more. And again, I just want to say before break, and I see Sun right there. So everything's bigger in Texas, but I want to say passion for children, North Carolina, I think y'all have got them beat. So I'm very glad to be here. Thank y'all.